Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. It's game week again after this past weekend's bye week. We got to watch all the other teams in college football and the NFL. But Michigan heading up to Madison on Saturday, high noon, and I'm excited about this one. But I've got a great show for you. I think this is some interesting stuff. Talking about the Michigan football stats and snap counts versus Army. So if you're not into the stats, folks, not into the analytics, I've been in the cave for a few days crunching numbers. This is the show for you. But I want to ask you guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're inching closer to that 5,000. The bean counters at Chat Sports, they're making me dance like a monkey to keep this channel alive. So the more you guys who subscribe, the better, and the less I'll have to ask you to subscribe. So just do it. You don't have to wait for me to ask and waste 30 seconds of your time. But I appreciate all that you that have. YouTube.com/MichiganTV. If you're not on YouTube, if you are, just click that button right below the video to subscribe to the channel. You'll never miss a video. Let's take a look at the offense for Michigan versus Army. 340 yards of total offense. That is pretty putrid, but as you saw on the show last week, fairly similar to what Michigan did, to what Oklahoma did against Army last season when they took them to overtime. 232 of those yards came through the air. Remember, Mike Barrett threw one of those for 25 on that fake punt. Only 108 rushing yards. I put the stat out on Twitter last week. Michigan first win under Jim Harbaugh. They were like 0-8 or 0-9 prior to that. First win under Harbaugh where they averaged less than 2.9 yards per carry, 2.4 yards per carry against Army. 24 points, 14 of those coming in overtime, or 10 points coming in overtime, 14 in regulation. The quarterbacks are up first, folks. QB snap count, 69, nice, for Shea Patterson, and 11 for Dylan McCaffrey. To be frank, it's tough to tell sometimes in the stands, no Wi-Fi. Even though I've got terrific seats, I only thought Dylan McCaffrey played for a handful of snaps, but apparently he came in for I guess a full drive or whatever it was. But he was not part of the game plan, let's say that. He came in when Shea Patterson was banged up a little bit. He was the third leading passer, was Dylan McCaffrey on the team, and he wasn't getting the 20 snaps that he got the week before. You see Mike Barrett, the Viper, will probably start next year after Khaleke Hudson heads to the NFL. 25 yards on that up-back pass to Daxton Hill. Shea Patterson, 19 of 29, 207 yards. No touchdowns after throwing 3 in the first half against Middle Tennessee State, but the number we've got to change, folks. 2 fumble loss, 3 for Shea on the season. Shea Patterson alone has as many fumbles lost as 122 NCAA teams. That's how crazy it is. Michigan leading the nation in that stat. Let's take a look at running back snap count. It was the Zach Charbonnet show. No True Wilson. He was out hurt after the Middle Tennessee State game. Christian Turner, I guess, missed a block early on is what I've looked at the film. And then they rode Charbonnet too hard. Much too hard, in my opinion. 33 carries. You saw how many snaps he had. 70 some of the 80 snaps of the offense took. He was on the field. 3 yards per carry is not good, guys. It is not good at all. And 3 touchdowns, though. He got the ball inside the 5. Not like he broke off any of those with his long being 12. He got involved in the passing game as well, Zach Charbonnet. These are his receiving stats versus Army. 2 catches. Cool, but only 6 yards. So they were little dump-off routes where he had to literally fight for his life to get a single yard. So not much going on in the passing game as far as production from Zach Charbonnet. Is Michigan going to win this week? Will they beat Wisconsin? It could be seen as one of Jim Harbaugh's biggest wins, just depending on how Wisconsin does throughout the rest of the season, how Michigan does. But he certainly struggled against top 15 teams, certainly struggled against the road. If you're confident in the team, there's a lot of money to be made with betting on the Wolverines. Do it at BetDSI, our sportsbook partner, guys. I'm just living the life, betting games, betting on Michigan football because of the bonus I got with BetDSI. 120% deposit bonus. Having a good year again this year after last year. You put 100 in, they've got an extra 120 for you. So you got 220. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code GOBLUE. Sports gambling is fun. I recommend you do it because it makes the game more exciting. If you're going to, BetDSI is who we recommend. We also recommend that you follow us on Instagram, doing a lot of Instagram Q&As coming up here in the next few weeks. Actually, considering doing Instagram live chat. That's a new feature they have during the Wisconsin game. So if you want to talk to me during Wisconsin, get a little Wisconsin-Michigan group chat, make sure to follow at Michigan Football Report on Instagram. How about the wide receivers? a Michigan football wide receiver snap count versus Army. It was not the Ronnie Bell show. He had a huge lead on the rest of the wide receiving crew in the first game. Scales back to 52 snaps, and Tariq Black and Nico Collins got the majority of the snaps. Saw way too many 2 tight end snaps in this, sets in this game from my taste, and then a huge drop off to Cornelius Johnson and Mike Sainristil, 2 true freshmen. Mike Sainristil will go down there in Michigan football lore with Kevin Grady and that one defensive end that one year, and a few of these guys. The spring football legends who never accomplish anything the next season, because that's Mike Sainristil was going to be. One guy told me Mike Sainristil might be first-team All-American under Gaddis' offense. Yeah, got it. 7 catches for Ronnie Bell, though, 81 yards. Nico Collins, 2. Dax Hill had 125. Tariq Black, 3 catches for 24 yards. From kind of receivers, we put Dax in there as a wide receiver just because there wasn't much. We needed a 4th player in there. The only other catches from backs and tight ends. So those are your receiving leaders. Tariq Black, Ronnie Bell, Mike Sainristil. I want to ask you guys, I'm not Mike Sainristil, Tariq Black, Ronnie Bell, Daxton Hill, as I meant to say there. I want to ask you guys, will Michigan beat Ohio State in 2019? We're going to stop the show right now. If Michigan will beat Ohio State, and you've got confidence, even if you don't really believe it, but you're a Michigan fan, please like the video so we can keep the Michigan Football Report thriving throughout this season. Make sure you guys are updated on everything going on with the program. If you think no, either you're a hater or you're an Ohio State fan, which I love, so watch our next episode, just not this one. If you think no, stop watching the video. You are no longer permitted to watch. I've got surveillance around your house right now, so if you keep watching, you're in trouble if you don't like that video. All right, keep moving. Tight end snap count. Sean McCune, and let's talk about Sean McCune for a second. I am sick and tired of hearing people who are paid by the Michigan football program, like Jim Brandstatter, that dope, like the Michigan PA guy at the stadium, like John Jansen, all pronouncing his name 3 separate ways. Jim Harbaugh's pronouncing it incorrectly. It's McCune, not McKeon, not Mickian, not McKeon, Sean McCune. So Jim Brandstatter, the people who get paid, if you're taking that cash and putting it in your pocket, he's been around for a long time, guys. I feel like Sean McCune is like a 19th year senior at this point. Know how to pronounce the guy's name. He has been more of a productive player this year than I thought he was going to be. A couple catches, 35 yards, and along a 22 after getting that nice touchdown catch in traffic down the middle against Middle Tennessee State the week before. The guy I thought would be more productive, similar stats, but it seems like McCune has got a hold of that tight end starting job. But Eubanks is in there plenty. 2 catches for 29 yards along of 24 there for Nick Eubanks as the, I guess you call him the backup tight end here for Jim Harbaugh's Michigan football Wolverines. All right, follow me on Twitter. Getting a lot of viewers. I don't know why. I feel Twitter has become a lot harder to get followers than YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Twitter followers just got 1 million people looking at my tweets a month, like 4 followers a week. So make sure to follow me on Twitter. Anybody who follows me and says, just followed you because of YouTube, I give you a full shout out on the next show. At James Yoder on Twitter. I was voted the best Michigan Twitter follow by my mom in America. So please go ahead and do it now. I'm just trying to I put that stuff out there for you guys. So there's no need for you not to if you use Twitter. All right, offensive line. The offensive line snap count. Not much variance here, folks. 80s across the board from the judges. All 5 starters. You may not see Ryan Hayes as a starter anymore with my expectation that John Runyon comes back against Wisconsin this Saturday. But all guys were in for every single play of the entire game. So not much to say there. I thought the tackles underperformed. I thought the interior guys, the veterans, had some lazy mistakes like falling over before he snapped the ball and all this different stuff. So not much to say about the offensive line. You saw my grades after the game. You know what's going on there. I want you guys, though, to grade Josh Gaddis' offense after 2 games. Are you confident he's got what it takes to go on the road at a ruckus crowd in Camp Randall, Madison, Wisconsin, against a Wisconsin team that's surprising some people? A, B, C, D, or F. I hope Josh Gaddis proved me wrong. I think he and the Michigan coaching staff believe they've left a lot of plays out there, big-time plays, explosive plays. I've told they've called them inside Schembechler Hall on the field, but I've given him a D- so far. So, Josh, let's see what you got. Grade below, though, for you guys, the wonderful audience of the Michigan Football Report. We've told you about BetDSI. BetDSI, Chat Sports, giving you 120% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code GoBlue. First deposit, take advantage. It's like you're not going to put in $40 and then bet once and never bet again. So put in a couple $100, get the big bonus, so you can lose your first 6 bets and still be ahead in the money. So I've stopped watching football. A lot of most NFL games. I don't watch a ton of college. Michigan and a couple others. I usually catch the Ohio State game. But I am betting 10 games a weekend. That is my pleasure when it comes to football these days. Wanted to make it yours as well. Promo code BLUE with BetDSI. Take a look at the defense against Army. The Army Black Knights that held Michigan to 300 whatever yards. They themselves got 243 yards against Michigan, 43 through the air, 200 through the on the ground. And I'll say this, 21 points, 14 in regulation. My perception of the defense has changed the further we've got away from that game. I thought it seemed like Army was getting a few yards every game. When you're watching from the stadium, sometimes you can't tell the difference between 1 and a 3-yard gain. So it seemed like to me, gosh, Army is just beating our guys off the ball every time. But I looked at the tape again. I kind of look at the stats. I'm a big analytics guy. That's why we're doing the snap count thing. And it seems like Michigan was just committed to the 3-man defensive line. You'll see that coming up here in the snap count. Kwity Paye, Aiden Hutchinson on the outside with Carlo Kemp on the inside. You didn't see any really appearance from Ben Mason. We'll take a look at his snaps. Those 3 guys played the entire game, and you had Mike Dana, the 5th-year transfer from Central Michigan, rotating at defensive end. But it was a 3-4-4 for almost the whole game. Michigan with 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and 4 in the secondary. And sometimes they mixed in 5 in the secondary here and there. But they wanted to go underman on the inside, and then when Army did the pitch option, limit the speed to the outside. So that's why they played less guys on the ball. But Aiden Hutchinson had a nice game. Him and Kwity Paye were right there on that strip sack and fumble recovery in the last play of the game to win it for Michigan. 10 tackles for Hutchinson, 2 tackles for loss and a sack. Kwity Paye, 7 tackles and a sack of his own. Carlo Kemp, nice game. Michael Dwumfor really needs to return from injury. I'm not sure if we're going to see him this week versus Wisconsin either, but that's your defensive line. I think you're going to see more players in that defensive line against Wisconsin because they are the most formidable power running team over the last 25 years in college football, and nothing seems to change. They just roll out 1,800-yard rushers like it's a Coke machine or something like that. Just one more. So can Michigan stop Jonathan Taylor, the Heisman Trophy potential winner this year? Certainly a Heisman favorite. A guy, if he stays another season after this year, I believe will shatter the NCAA rushing record for a career. I think he'll just absolutely, blow it out of the water by 500 to 1,000 yards. Yes, if they can stop him, you're confident they can stop him. And for no, answer below, why or N can Michigan stop Jonathan Taylor? Make sure you guys also subscribe. While you're making that comment, you're typing your Y, just move that mouse. If you're on iPhone, Android, just press the button. Subscribe to the Michigan Football Report. I only ask you to subscribe because I don't want you guys to miss an episode. People ask me questions like, James, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'm usually like, well, you got a lot of time to be entertained. I'm trying to entertain you. So go ahead and subscribe. I don't want you to miss one. If you've seen, we put out 5 episodes per week. How about the linebackers? I really like the linebackers I'm seeing out of this group this year, guys. I have been pleasantly surprised. Jordan Glasgow. I wish you could bottle up whatever the Glasgow family has and inject it into every man, woman, and child in this country because it's a good thing. Josh Uche, some people want to call him a defensive lineman. He's lining up on it with his hand down a lot of times. Michigan still classifies him as a linebacker. Khaleke Hudson, one of the leaders of the defense. And then you see Josh Ross got hurt, left the game with an injury. Still waiting to hear more on his status for the Wisconsin game. But we saw the first emergence of Jordan Anthony, the very highly touted. One of the services had him as a 5-star coming out in and now in his 3rd year with Michigan, a red shirt sophomore. The leaders of the defense statistically for the linebackers, Khaleke Hudson, Josh Ross, Jordan Glasgow. Those are your leaders from a statistical tackles perspective from the linebackers. Obviously, with Ross going out, he had a nice game, only getting 30-some snaps. Still had 9 tackles, so couldn't imagine what those stats would have been had he not gone out earlier in the game. Could have 15-plus tackles. All right, guys, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to try my best during the game on Saturday against Wisconsin to facilitate. I don't know how it works yet, so if it goes terribly wrong, blame Mark Zuckerberg, not me. But saw a feature where I can start a Instagram story chat and let basically people just kind of join up and talk about the game on Instagram. So we're going to get that going this week. We're going to make the account private before then so we don't get any outside influences on the chat, any Wisconsin fans or anything. Michigan Football Report is the username. Go ahead and follow right now. How about the defensive backs? Thought you'd be down a man to start the year with Ambry Thomas. Thought that you have to rely on Vincent Gray, but Ambry Thomas has come back. He's played well. He had an interception, fumble recovery against Middle Tennessee State. But it's the veterans and it's the safeties that are getting most of the playing time. Josh Metellus, Brad Hawkins, Lavert Hill. Two of those guys are 3-year starters now, and of course Brad Hawkins took over for Tyree Kinnell this offseason. Ambry Thomas got a bunch of snaps, but he was splitting a little time there with Vincent Gray. They're rotating those guys in and out. And then a name that I had kind of forgotten about, Jamarick Woods, got a couple snaps. But as you see across this entire video, both offense and defense, the snap count was kept very tight for both sides of the ball. Michigan was in a struggle, and they weren't taking any chances with playing the second string, really at any position. So that's why a lot of these guys who got snaps for Middle Tennessee State did not against Army. Take a look at the snaps one more time. Metellus, 67, Brad Hawkins, 67, and Lavert Hill, 59. Those were your leaders. Hope you like this video breaking down the stats and snap counts, which is a statistic maybe you guys haven't paid attention to, but it shows you how many snaps each player is getting. Go ahead and watch these couple of videos as we're getting ready for the game against Wisconsin, and make sure you like the channel before you leave. Go Blue.